in the partnership platform, new and old partners that have worked with us over the years that we have been implementing the African Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Initiative, and now we are transitioning to the African Medicines Agency. We really appreciate your partnership that has led us to get to the point at which we are. Our friends from the media, we are here today because you've enabled us to communicate and reach out, and we are here. Really, we are very hopeful that you are going to take the message forward. Distinguished guests from the academia, research institutions, and other civil society organizations and others that are present, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Let me once again thank you for coming to this session and for being part of this African Medicines Regulatory Harmonization journey for the last 16 years that we have been working it to reach the milestone that we have reached today. Most sincerely, we would like to thank the government of Kenya, represented here by the Honorable Cabinet Secretary. The government of Kenya has been a true partner, not just in this SCOMRA, but way from the beginning of the AMRH to get us to where we are. We collaborate on a number of initiatives. Your hosting has really made us feel at home, even for this event. Some of us have been here for the last 3-4 days, but we feel really that we are at home. So we really appreciate your hospitality. You're hosting us in this beautiful city of Mombasa. We really feel welcomed, and we hope to be coming back more often to Mombasa. We see how beautiful it is and how beautiful the people of Kenya are. Thank you very much. Asante sana. I really would like to appreciate at this point the coordination that we have had with the government colleagues, my colleagues from the AUD and EPAD, my colleagues from the AMA, Africa CDC, WHO, and others that were part of the organizing committee. We've worked diligently to make this SCOMRA a very monumentous occasion for the continent, an occasion that will live in the history of the continent, an occasion that will transition us from what we have been doing over the years through the AMRH to the African Medicines Agency. Your presence, your support, your leadership in the organizing committee has made a difference. We have had close to 1,000 people that registered for this event. And in here, we thank you. I mean, you have reached, we were expecting half of the people to attend physically, 500, but we have reached more than 600 participants. It is really, really meaningful to us. And it shows the support that you have to the continental agenda on regulatory harmonization. And it shows that we all want to work together in achieving the AU Agenda 2063 goal of every African, regardless of where they are, regardless of their status in the society, should have access to quality assured, safe, and effective medical products that will respond to their health needs. That's why we are gathered here today. And your presence is a testament that we all want to work together to achieve this goal. I would like to say this is the 7th SCOMRA, 7th. But as we have been moving from the first SCOMRA, I remember when we were designing it, we were asking ourselves questions. Margaret, you were there. We were asking ourselves questions. Are we doing enough in terms of regulation as a science? Are we doing enough in terms of research? Regulatory research? Are we sharing enough in terms of academic development when it comes to regulatory science as a profession? We had to answer ourselves honestly at the beginning when we were starting with the first SCOMRA. We said we need a gathering that will enable us to share, to exchange, to really appreciate and know what is happening in the development when it comes to regulatory science. And over the years, we've seen that this conference has grown. As we count from the 1st to the 7th, we can see that it has grown in scope, what we discuss, the maturity. When we called for abstracts for the first scientific conference, very few came. We were like, are we going to pull this through? But look, today, we were able to receive over 150 abstracts. And actually, we did not have enough time to accommodate all those abstracts. Thank you to you all who submitted abstracts. We have also grown when it comes to the diversity of the participants. Regulatory science will not advance just by regulators alone. We need more than the regulators in the national regulatory authorities. In the session that we just closed, which was looking at the College of African Regulatory Science Professionals, proposals on how we want to move forward, it was noted that regulatory science is beyond just national regulatory authorities. There are regulators in the industry, in the academia, in research. We need to ensure that all those regulators are involved and engaged, they are engaged in our dialogue. We need the civil society as well to participate. We've seen in this conference that the diversity has really grown, and we thank you all for that commitment to the continental agenda that will ensure health security as well as continental sovereignty. It is an issue of continental sovereignty. It is an issue of sustainability of our peoples, and it is an issue that we cannot leave anyone behind. So thank you for all your commitment. And at this point in time, I would like to take this opportunity to invite our host, the Kenya Pharmacy and Poisons Board, the chairman of board, to welcome us to this opening ceremony, official opening ceremony of SCOMRA. I invite you, the chairperson, Dr. Munyu. Thank you.
Honorable Aden Duale, Cabinet Secretary for Health, Your Excellency Abdul Samad Sharif, Governor Mombasa County, Your Excellency Ambassador Ama Adoma Tumu Amoa, the Commissioner for Africa, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development at the African Commission, Your Excellency Dr. Mimi Dako, Director General for Africa Medicines Agency, Your Excellency Jean Kasser, Director General, Africa Center for Disease Control, Africa CDC, Madam Dr. Onyango, representing the Regional Director, World Health Organization, Afro Region, Dr. Fatuma Aden, representative for the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, Dr. Vincent Tihon, the Chairman, Africa Medicines Regulatory Harmonization, Dr. Tumi Semete, Chairperson, Africa Medicines Regulatory Harmonization, heads of national regulatory authorities present, distinguished delegates, development partners, members of the Fifth Estate, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Conference Organizing Committee, the African Union Development Agency, AUDA NEPAD, the World Health Organization, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, it is my profound honor and privilege to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to this 7th biennial scientific conference on medical education. Allow me at this juncture to specially extend a special thank you to the Governor from Mombasa County, His Excellency Abdul Samad Sharif, for hosting us here in this beautiful coastal city of Mombasa. Asante sana, Bwana Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I would say we find ourselves in Africa and in terms of Africans' health security in a precarious position because we are at the moment importing 90% of medicines and producing less than 1% of vaccines. This is a critical weakness we must address as a continent. Over the past 10 years, Africa Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Program has been the cornerstone of our efforts, building robust regulatory systems from the national to the regional level through guideline harmonization and digitalization. As we move from the strong foundation built through the Africa Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Initiative to the Africa Medicines Agency, we must reflect on the past 10 defining years that have prepared the way. These efforts have laid the groundwork for a more self-reliant Africa and advanced our progress towards greater regulatory convergence across the entire continent. Undoubtedly, ladies and gentlemen, this SCOMRA 7 is a strategic platform to translate the promise of African Medicines Agency into reality. Our goal is to catalyze local manufacturing, facilitate trade under the Africa Continent Free Trade Agreement, and ensure that quality medical products reach everyone in need within the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, we must now move from dialogue to decisive action. I urge you all, regulators, policymakers, academics, researchers, manufacturers, and development partners to engage openly and constructively so that we leave this beautiful city of Mombasa with a clear, actionable roadmap. The Africa, or the potential for Africa, is undoubtedly great, and strengthening our ability to manufacture and engage in intra-Africa trade of health products is well within our reach. Achieving this will require strong collaboration across the continent. This collaboration is what Your Excellency, Madam Mimi, you are providing through AMA. Again, let me take this opportunity to reaffirm that the continent should and is fully behind you, and all the member states will support AMA to ensure its successful takeoff. I wish to take this opportunity to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, and wish you all a productive and engaging conference here in this beautiful city of Mombasa. Asanteni sana na karibuni Mombasa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Kenya Pharmacy and Poisons Board, for welcoming us to this occasion. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the Chairperson of the African Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Steering Committee, Dr. Bitumelo Semete, who is going to give us remarks from the steering committee on behalf of the entire AMRH Family Steering Committee member states. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. A special welcome to the Honorable Cabinet Secretary. We thank you for gracing us with your presence today. To our honorable and distinguished guests, as well as dignitaries, I will stand on the shoes of Ms. Chim, who honored all of you adequately. And to all our guests who have joined us, our partners, as well as the Friends of AMRH. We welcome you to the 7th Scientific Conference on Medicinal Product Regulation in Africa. This is an important platform where, as regulators and our partners, as well as others in regulatory sciences, gather to engage on developments in regulation. The team has done an excellent job in putting together what I really see to be an exciting program. This program is current in that it addresses matters that we're all grappling with as regulators. When you look at the contents of the program, you see that there's opportunity for us to engage on these emerging elements in regulation, but also for us to come out of this meeting with solutions. When you look at the program, we tackle matters of public health emergencies, which we know that as regulators, we are part of the continental agenda around being prepared for the next epidemic or pandemic. There are matters of clinical trials that we're engaging on, topics such as pragmatic trial design, first-in-human studies, and again, it is critical that we discuss this because you cannot have a local manufacturing industry but not have capacity to clinically evaluate those trials. And so these are important discussions for us. Emerging topics such as artificial intelligence, as well as digital platforms, are core in this meeting's agenda. An important element that we're grappling with as regulators, and I think we're making headway, but a lot still needs to be done and it needs to be in a coordinated fashion, is how we will collectively address the challenges around substandard and falsified products. And again, you see this being integral into our program. And so we look forward to some of the deliberations on this very important topic, a topic that requires that we work together as one Africa to say, how do we ensure the safety of the people on our continent? Local manufacturing is core, and I'm glad that many of us as regulators have put in place mechanisms, strategies, and policies to support the local industry. When I look at what's happening across the world, I must commend our African regulators. We've probably, over the last decade, made the biggest advances in regulatory science. And I'd like to thank the leadership that we have in Madame Gugu and the colleagues that are leading now the college, because it is their thinking that led us to a point where we can collaborate as all 55 NRAs and say, how do we tackle this area of regulation? How do we make sure that we're ready for everything that is advancing in the health sector? And so as regulators, we are ready to support local manufacturers. Our DG eloquently also expressed this yesterday. And so we look forward to being part of these deliberations. As AMRH, we are honored and we're thrilled that we're finally transitioning into AMA. As you all have heard, that this has always been the design, that AMRH will be the foundation of AMA. We have, and we will be handing over the baton, having delivered on significant advances. And I would really like to thank the AMRH Steering Committee over the number of years, the AMRH Secretariat over the many years. It is exciting and it is an honor that we hand over what has already been established. Just to highlight some of these areas. We have, as the AMRH, listed 12 medicinal products. We have also listed 3 diagnostic products. We have guidelines in place that enable us to do the work that we have. We have the model law that, as indicated yesterday, has been in a number of member states. We have the risk very capable team in our technical committees.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Putumelo, for your statement. But I think it will be unfair if we don't clap strongly for the steering committee. They have done a wonderful job in providing leadership, oversight, mobilizing and bringing together the heads of agencies towards one common agenda. Collaboration, harmonization, trust. It's not easy, but they are moving mountains. Thank you very much, ma'am. At this point in time, let me invite the chairperson of the AMRH Partnership Platform, a partnership platform that has been very instrumental in pulling together different partners towards one plan, one goal, collective impact on regulatory harmonization that is leading us to AMA today. So you're welcome, Dr. Vincent Dihon.
Thank you, Gina. Good morning. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, ladies, gentlemen, friends towards a strong regulatory system in Africa, all protocol observed, good morning again. It is an honor and privilege to be here. And let me begin by first expressing our heartfelt gratitude to the government and people of Kenya for your warm welcome and the gracious hospitality. It is always inspiring to be here in a country that continues to lead by example in health and regulatory excellence. Allow me also to extend a warm congratulations once more to the nominated Director General for AMA, Dr. Semele Mimidako. Congratulations to you. And it's really a good moment and a defining moment, and we really want to express and confirm that from the partnership platform and partners, we are really with you on this route. This is a clear signal, with AMA being there, here and now, that the continent is ready to move from vision to full implementation. AMA is happening right now, here, and we are so excited about it. Over the past decade, we've witnessed tremendous progress across Africa. National regulatory authorities becoming stronger, reaching maturity level 3 for some, regional harmonization initiatives gaining momentum, and the AMRH program laying the foundation for a coherent, trusted, and efficient regulatory system. Congratulations to all. These achievements have been possible thanks to through partnership among government, regional economic authorities, African Union, AUDA NEPAD, WHO, development partners, and the whole community. Today, I want to reaffirm our collective commitment as partners to continue supporting Africa's regulatory agenda at continental, regional, and national levels. Our shared goal is simple but profound: a strong, smart, and sustainable regulatory ecosystem that guarantees access to quality, safe, and effective medical products for all. As we look to the future, our aspirations are high, and rightly so. And to reach them, we must also work smarter, ensuring that our efforts are well coordinated and aligned, guided by African priorities. And I call upon my fellow partners to be better in listening and aligning, bringing some flexibility and agility to listen to the needs, adjust to the priorities, adjust or support accordingly to ensure efficiencies and synergies rather than duplications. We want to move forward as one team at continental, regional, and national levels. We want to avoid fragmentation and duplication because ultimately our agenda is your agenda. Partnership means listening, aligning and building systems that endure, systems grounded in scientific excellence, institutional strength and sustainability. And yes, we might have to be a little bit patient because to build an institution takes time. Building robust regulatory systems, leadership and persistence will bring progress and will come step by step with determination and trust. I think we talked a lot about trust in the past days. Let's build that together. Together to continue and build an Africa where every patient in every community can trust the quality of their medical products, an Africa that leaves no country, no region, no agencies, and no one behind. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vincent Tuhon, representing the family of partners of the AMRH, which will be transitioning together with the Secretariat and all its structures to the African Medicines Agency. At this point in time, I would like to invite the representative of the Executive Secretary for IGAD, Dr. Fatuma Adan. Regional economic communities have played an important role in giving us the proof that this can work. They are the ones that have shown us that we can indeed work together. We can agree on standards, guidelines, and processes. We can do joint assessments and evaluations, approve a product that countries can rely on the report. So thank you very much for all the work that you have done, regional economic communities. Over to you, Madam Fatuma.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chim, for those kind words, and I stand here on behalf of all the regional economic communities in the House. I am here to read the speech of His Excellency Dr. Werkene Gebeyehu, the IGAD Executive Secretary, and I am his head of mission to the Republic of Kenya, and therefore I take this opportunity to recognize our guest of honor, Honorable Minister for the Health, the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Adan Duale, His Excellency Governor Abdul Samad, the Governor of Mombasa, Her Excellency, my sister, Ambassador Amma, the Commissioner Health, Humanitarian Affairs in the African Union Commission, and the Director Generals of Amma, my sister, Mimi Daku, the Chairperson of the Africa Medicines Regulatory Harmonization, and all the other distinguished delegates, the AUD and EPAD, my sister, Dr. Onyango, who is with us. It is a great honor to welcome you to the 7th Scientific Conference on Medicines Product Regulation in the continent, and I want to take this opportunity to thank particularly AUD and EPAD, the World Health Organization, for organizing this very important conference, as well as the government and the people of Kenya for hosting us in this beautiful city. I know Governor would speak to this, but Mombasa is a historic city, and it has been for centuries hosting meetings for trade. So it is befitting place to reflect on the continent's path towards health sovereignty and to shape the next phase of our collective regulatory journey as a continent. This year's theme, Excellencies, Regulatory Harmonization and Unlocking Africa's Potential in Health Product Manufacturing and Trade, speaks to the defining moment for our continent. Across Africa, we've made commitments, and I think we've heard from the previous speakers, to strengthen our regulatory institutions, to increase our pharmaceutical production, and to ensure that our people in the continent have reliable access to safe, reliable, quality assured medical products across. Today, we meet not only to review the progress that we've made as a continent, but also to devise strategies on how to accelerate regulatory harmonization, convergence, and strengthen our local health products across. We have gathered as a continent here at a pivotal time and a moment of transition. Recently, as you've heard from the previous speaker, in Kigali, the Africa continent has welcomed its inaugural Director General of the African Medicines Agency, Dr. Mimi Dako. Congratulations again for this appointment. You will all agree with me that her appointment marks a turning point for the continent, and for the first time, AMA enters a new era that is led by a seasonal African regulator with a continental mandate, which is backed by political will to coordinate, but also harmonize and elevate our systems in Africa. And indeed, colleagues, this is not simply an institutional milestone. You would agree with me that it is a declaration of clear intent that Africa is choosing to lead and to define its own destiny. For many years, our regulatory agenda has been driven through technical collaboration and dedication of individual experts. However, our ambition as a continent requires that we do more. It requires building a sustainable regulatory systems that are anchored in an established legal framework, structured accountability, shared investment, effective coordination, and a strategic center of gravity. And therefore, under the leadership of the DG of the African Medicine Agency, we now have an African institution that would guide medicines regulatory work with authority, with a vision, and a sustainability lens. SCOMRA has always brought us together. I think this is the 7th SCOMRA, and as we reflect, and we've had rich scientific discussions and dialogue, we had knowledge exchange, we networked, but now we must transition to a platform that produces shared commitment and measurable implementation and generate results to ensure that we leave a legacy. I think we need to do that. Our regulatory systems are maturing, of course, with challenges. And our scientists, innovators, and manufacturers are also building an ecosystem that will nurture future innovation, research, and development to support local manufacturing and a strong foundation for the new health economies in the Africa region. This gathering, therefore, today should be remembered as a turning point and a moment for SCOMRA stepped fully into its role as a premier science platform for Africa Medicines Agency. As I conclude, on behalf of IGAD and on behalf of all the RECs, let me take this opportunity to congratulate our government, the government of Ethiopia, and the Ethiopia Food Drug Authority, EFDA, for the attainment of maturity level 3. Ethiopia, thank you for that. I know it is a very tough process, very intensive, laborious, but thank you, Ethiopia, for leading the way. This is a global benchmark for a stable, well-functioning, and an integrated system for regulation of medical products. Again, on behalf of IGAD, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to work with our member states, the Africa Medicines Agency, AUD and NEPAD, Africa CDC, other regional economic blocs, the national drug authorities, and the technical plus our development partners to strengthen our regulatory systems. Together as a continent, we ensure that every recommendation and decisions that we make from this meeting and the partnership we will establish moves to a closer, healthier, safer, stronger, and more resilient Africa. Thank you, Asanteni, Asana.
Thank you very much, Madam, for representing other regional economic communities as an important component of the continental regulatory ecosystem. Allow me at this point in time to invite Dr. Onyango, who is representing the regional director for WHO Afro. WHO has been a very important partner since we launched the AMRH in 2009, and I think even before when it comes to regulatory system strengthening.